Caballeros,
¿Qué onda?
how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Very good.
Yeah,
Thank
perfect, man.
you very much for coming on, Fluffy.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys letting me push the time a little bit. I was doing a voiceover this morning in LA and I wasn't sure if it was going to go long or short. Rather be safe than sorry.
It's all good. Let me ask you a question. By the way, we're recording. We'll put in all the thing in post. Hey, this is our guest and all that. But I got two songs for you here, and I want you to pick which one you want as your intro, or you want another song.
Oh, okay.
Claim the first song, old school Chicano rap you're familiar with. Kick it.
I already know the song.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so it's that one or
Can we hear it, Joe?
Oh yeah, you can hear it, right?
I don't need to hear it. I know the song.
Oh, okay.
That one? Okay. Or let's kick it with this one. This is old school Mexican. Música norteña.
Nice. I'm good with both. I love that.
Wait, let me say, Fluffy, nice to meet you. I'm Deb Disco. I mean you for the first time here.
What is your name?
Okay, I like the second song better because it sounds like. Hey, what's up, Ray? How you doing?
Oh shit! I know who you are.
Yeah.
What's up, man? It took me a second. I'm like, wait. Oh,
yeah, right. Well, number one, I like the second song because it sounds like the type of music that a boxer would come out to for a big fight in Mexico. So I like the second song.
Whichever song you choose, I'll have a comment for either or, and I like both.
All right.
But Fluffy, I've never met you, but I'm noticing here. I just pulled you up, bro. You got a show. You got 3 shows coming up in Vegas here in a few days, huh?
I take it that's where you're based.
Yeah. I'm in Vegas. I live in Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Whatever show you guys would like to come out to, you're invited.
Dude, you don't got to give them tickets. Let them buy them.
No, I may go on Sunday.
You guys aren't even good friends. Let them buy them.
Fluffy, let me read you something here real quick, though. This is how they're advertising you. They talk a little about you, but they said, Iglesias is also the star and executive producer of Mr. Iglesias, the multicam Netflix original comedy series, which is currently streaming parts 1 through 3. Iglesias plays a good-natured public high school teacher who works at his alma mater. He takes on teaching gifted but misfit kids to not only save them from being counseled out by a bully bureaucrat assistant principal, but also to help them unlock their full potential. In 2020, the show won the Best Primetime Comedy at the Imagine Awards, which also recognizes positive portrayals, that's how they write it, Latinx actors and actresses in the entertainment industry.
All right. You know what? Just so you know, I have a pet peeve, Fluffy. I don't like being referred to as Latinx.
Yo tampoco. Yeah.
We always joke about that.
He doesn't like it either, dude. I'm not the only one.
I'm not a fan of the word.
No.
I'm not a fan of the word either.
Exactly. I'm Latino. What's wrong with that? I'm Hispanic.
Right.
What's wrong with that? Yeah.
The only X's are on my T-shirt and in my relationships.
That's tremendous. Let me ask you a question, Fluffy, right off the bat. So, how young were you when you were watching wrestling? Were you watching wrestling in LA? And did you ever watch wrestling from Mexico that they showed on in LA?
You know, the irony to that question is that the first time I started watching wrestling was when I was in Mexico. My sister married this dude, and I don't know exactly what his profession was.
Right.
I know what he claimed to be. He claimed to be a maker of cheese. He had a cheese factory, but something tells me it was kind of like a front.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think there was a lot more negocio happening, a lot more cheese being delivered, if you know what I mean. But what's cool is that he had all the latest and greatest with television, and entertainment centers were a big thing back in the day. You know, the muebles, the big old units with the big giant tube and the receivers that weighed like 300 pounds and the speakers. And he had access to all these, different channels. And one of the channels was, you see wrestling on it. And so I would watch WWF at the time, which I thought was cool. It was during, I remember it was 1987. It was leading up to WrestleMania 3. And so that's when I really started watching, was that particular year and everything that led up to that. So I was always tuning in Saturday mornings. I was always watching Saturday night's main event whenever, when it would come on, because it wasn't every Saturday. And that's when I got the bug for it. 1987, I was 11 years old.
So you didn't
11
watch
years old.
Mexican wrestling in Mexico.
I was watching wrestling. Yeah, I was a Mexican watching wrestling.
American wrestling.
American wrestling in Mexico. But the funny part was that my brother-in-law kept telling me that wrestling sucks. That wrestling sucks. He goes, "Ahí te llevo up the street." He goes, "Pa que veas los luchadores que son de veras." And like, what do you mean? He goes, "No, donde yo voy, sangre, you know, where I go, they bleed." And I'm like, that doesn't sound good.
Right.
He goes, if we get there early, he goes, you could even touch him. I'm like, that didn't even sound right. But I was, it sounded scary.
But let me ask you a
He
question.
wanted to take me to the Mexico to lucha libre, not pro wrestling, but lucha.
So what did you think? Now, this time you must have been 21 or so. What did you think when you were watching WCW and the luchadors showed up?
You know what? For me, that was like, it was like, oh my God, like to see anytime you're watching a movie, a mainstream movie, when I say mainstream, you know what I mean, a mainstream film, and you hear anything that references your culture,
right?
Your whether it's a word in Spanish or you see a type of food that's being featured in the movie or a product that you're like, whoa, it's always a big deal. So to see representation like that, that was huge. You're like, whoa, these two worlds crossed over. So I thought it was awesome.
Right.
And were you a fan of Conan back then or not?
Back then, yes. Man, I just knew that I didn't want to run into him. Who let this cholo in the ring?
Right.
But you know what? Let me tell you, just so you know. So my mom's Cuban, my dad's Puerto Rican. I grew up in Miami, right? When I was young, and I'm like 15 years older than you, there was very, very little Latino representation. Like you had Desi Arnaz and I Love Lucy, but I used to see it, that was in black and white, so I knew it was like old, right? And you had like Freddie Prinze, Chico and the Man, but he committed suicide at a very young age, Like you really didn't have, like today when I see you or anybody else, getting their flowers, man, I get so happy. So the reason that I decided to represent a Mexican and not a Cuban or a Puerto Rican was because, when I got into Mexico, and about wrestling, so you understand this, there's a process. You usually start in the first match and you work your way up. But since I was so much bigger than everybody, they actually had me in the main events. And I had such a great time in Mexico because I actually lived in El DF. And I had such a great time because it was like a rock star lifestyle that I wanted to give back to the Mexicans. That was kind of like my way to give back. And nobody had ever really played a cholo. You'd seen firemen and you've seen guys do all sorts of crazy things, dentists and the fucking repo man and all that shit. But I never saw anybody out there putting it down like that for la raza. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually how I came up with my gimmick. So have you ever, like, you live in LA? Let me ask you a question, because this is something that's always kind of baffled me. So Fluffy, how you always hear about there's like the Illuminati, and you always hear like you saw that interview with obviously you saw the interview with Cat Williams on Shay Shay, right?
Right.
Okay, and you remember when he goes, yeah, every black man ends up, in a dress sooner or later, because that's kind of how they get you. And, this guy had to do this in a movie because they owed them. Is there, because you're basically live in LA, right? You live in LA, you kind of grew up around LA, so you're an LA boy. What can you tell us about any of this? Is this all bullshit, or is there something to it?
I don't think I'm deep enough into the Hollywood world to have experienced.
Pero oyes cosas, no? But
you always hear things, but then also too, you got to question the source.
Right.
You always got to question the source, and people are gonna say certain things, and a lot of times people want attention. They want attention, or they're just kind of like they're trying to cause chaos
or monetize
pick things up, or come up on it. Exactly.
Right.
For me, I never experienced anything that felt like, oh my God, this is it's part of the thing. Have I ever worn like a dress in a situation for TV? Right. Yeah. But then again, also too, I showed up talking like a girl. So when you can talk like a girl, they might put you in a dress. So That's what happened to me. But any of the other stuff, I've never experienced it. I've heard stories though. I've heard a lot of stories, but I've never experienced it firsthand. You know that TV show that everybody's talking about right now on Netflix, back in the day on Nickelodeon. I was actually on that show during that time. I was one of the cast members during that time.
Were you made to do any of that stuff?
No, nobody tried to touch me. So I started feeling like, hey, why everybody else? But what's wrong with me? Was I not cute? I showered. I never personally.
But they had them doing a lot of sexual shit that, when you look at it now, you're like, no, man.
Look at it now, yeah.
No, mames, way.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Because just piggybacking up the one thing that I found interesting that Cat Williams said that I want to know about the culture, the comedian culture. When he was talking about how like joke stealing, and like you're at a very a high level, and when he was talking, like Cat Williams was talking about like a guy like basically stole his joke, distorted, told it the same way, but it's still his joke. How much does that go on in where like comedians are stealing other people's stuff? Because like I know you guys do. You go to comedy stores and a bunch of guys like, is that as prevalent as like it sounds, or is everybody just kind of like just original material? Like how often does joke stealing go on?
I think that anytime you have something that requires creativity, as you know, show business is show business. So it doesn't matter if you're a singer, dancer, wrestler, comedian. Anytime you are creative, people are always going to watch what you do, see what works, and go, how many times have you guys seen somebody have a gimmick or a line or a look or a certain pop?
Professional wrestling still moves all the time.
You're like, that looks like so-and-so's, or, you know who did that first, or, So, yeah, I think you run into that situation, and no matter what form of entertainment you're in. When it comes to comedy, that's always been a thing over the years. It doesn't matter who you are. Anybody can say that, I've never stole. Early on, you're always inspired. There's somebody that you see that you like and you emulate them. You want to be them. And then eventually you find your own voice and you start doing your own thing. Some catch on early on and they do their own thing early, and some just never break that next place. What I found is that as long as I'm talking about me and I'm telling stories about myself and everything it's coming from here, then I'm not worried about ever feeling like I'm copying or doing something that that's someone else's. I always make it about me, so I'm only worried about what's happening here. So I try not to watch too many other comics, and if I do, I like watching comedians that do things I don't do or will ever do, like get really filthy or very political or very, very edgy. Those are comics that do things that I don't. I keep it very, friendly for the most part. But as far as other comedians, it does happen. It does happen. Sometimes you get called out. Sometimes people notice.
Bro, that's what I want to ask you about. Have you seen in the comedy stores, is there like heat between guys?
Bro, we saw very, very famous thing that happened, and you know about it, Fluffy.
Joe Rogan.
When motherfucking Rogan pulled up on Carlos Mencia. Like, that kind of destroyed his career, I think, or no?
And wasn't that at the Comedy Store?
Yeah, that happened at the Comedy Store. But also remember, too, Rogan and Carlos, they had their own feud for a while. Like that were, yeah. And also, too.
What happened to Carlos Mencia? Because you don't see him anymore. And he had a hot show for a while.
He's still out there doing comedy, not at the same level, but he still works. The guy's on, he's on the road every week. But it's not the same. And that calling him out like that, it didn't do him any favors. But you gotta remember too. I think it was more so a personality issue over more so than material. There was a lot of people and a lot of I guess, and is animosity the right word for it? He had rubbed people the wrong way, because there have been people in the past that have taken material. Robin Williams being one of them. But you never heard Robin Williams getting called out, because Robin Williams would always cut a check to whoever called him out. Hey,
right.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Bro, but his delivery was impeccable.
But also everybody liked Robin. You never heard stories of Robin being a jerk or disrespectful to anybody, but you did hear stuff like that about Carlos. And so I think it was a lot of things happening at the same time. Could he have weathered the storm? Could he have come out of it, better? I think so. owning up to it instead of fighting it would have been one. And then getting off the stage whenever people show up with cameras and confront you is another one. Why put yourself in a position to get destroyed? Walk away and then just, hey, did you hear they went up on stage? I'd rather have people say that than actually have footage of somebody getting just decimated because he never recovered from it.
Something similar happened with Dane Cook, right? Because he would get accused of stealing material, and he wasn't that beloved in the comedy circles, as far as I know, because he kind of came from MySpace and stuff. You know what I mean? It sounded like, from what I've read, a lot of guys in the comedy space kind of resented him for the way he grew his fan base.
But with Dane, it was more so a timing thing. He was, a lot of the fan base that he had was very young, very college driven. It was a lot of, it's like people grew up kind of a thing. So it was more so that than anything like with what happened with Carlos.
Let me ask you this, Fluffy. So we've seen where fake outrage has just gained so much steam like the past 7 years. I would say it's probably it's gaining momentum. And we always hear about like they're coming after comedy. In your opinion, who are the guys today that in your opinion are just because I don't know what it's like in the comedy stores if you still go to this stuff, but if people kind of are worried about what they're saying now as opposed to comedians of the past, and who do you see today as the most fearless comedians that just do not give an S?
I think that maybe a couple of years ago, everybody was concerned and worried, including myself, because based on the rules, everybody can for anything and everything.
When you say you're worried, give me an example.
Worried and concerned, okay, there's the fact that you can get called out for material from the past, what he said back in 1999 was offensive back, if you watch it now, but maybe it was completely acceptable and normal. So the fact that people were still able to go backwards and pull footage from the past and try to cancel people now, that was kind of a trend for a minute. And I think that now it's kind of more so come on, you guys, it's a different time. I'm no longer concerned about that. My fan base is my fan base. They trust me. They're along for the ride. They know what I've talked about in the past, so I'm not concerned about anything from the past. As far as the new fans, that could be a thing. Maybe somebody would be rubbed the wrong way, but I don't think anybody's as concerned now because there have been comics that supposedly were canceled, but they're still around. They're still working. It's not like they're stuck at home. What am I going to do now? They're still working. There's no one who's been completely wiped off the map, with exception to let's say a Cosby and even then, I think he's still talking about wanting to get back up on stage. So
yes,
if people still want to come out and see you, they're going to come out and see you regardless. As far as fearless comics, clearly, like a Chappelle you don't care. Bill Burr, I think Bill Burr's fearless. Jim Jeffries, Tom Segura. There's all these guys that say anything and everything that they want without, worrying about the repercussions of it because they're catering to their fan base. And I think as long as you cater to your fan base and only worry about your fan base, then you're going to be okay. People are always going to have opinions. People are always going to want to take you down, and I think I got consumed with that myself. That's why I say I worried about it too. But I'm at a point now where hey man, I'm coming up on 50. I've had a very long, amazing career and a run. If I don't gain another fan, I'm not worried because the fans I have are amazing. They're the ones that carried me. They're the ones that supported me and made all this happen up until now. So
describe you have the fan base. Describe your average fan.
My average fan, it's anyone, it's everyone. It's a kid, it's an adult, it's black, white, brown. It's from anywhere.
Funny's funny.
So it's literally anyone can come out to see the show. So
and you see it in his audience. Yeah. Obviously, there's a heavy Hispanic influence because
definitely
Hispanics are always going to support their people, like any other nationality does. If you go see Joy Coy, I'm sure there's a million Filipinos in there, but there's also Americans and blacks and everything else because that's how multicultural we are. Let me ask you a question, Fluffy. I'm going to ask you a couple of genres, okay? Because now that you're in LA and you have access to meet just about anybody you want, give me your two biggest mark out moments of a wrestler that you met.
Well, I met The Rock at Mania, so that was a big
Right.
one because I was stalking him the whole weekend, and then finally I got my chance.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Were you stalking him, like looking for him, or did you send your people to look for him? If you see him, háblame, or how did you stalk him?
Well, it started off at the WWE 2K the video game event. There was a video game event, and they asked me to be part of it. And he was there promoting something else. It was like I'm trying to think, what did they call it? It was the convention center where they had everything set up there, but they were having different types of events. And so the video game event happened right after the event with The Rock. And so I knew he was going to be there, so I got there early. So I was already just
Waiting.
my eyes peeled. And he travels with more people than the president, man. He's got security around him all the way around. And so getting to him is a little bit challenging. But right there is where I started. Like, okay, there he is. I just wanted my selfie. I just want to say hi, get my selfie.
Yeah.
But I couldn't make it happen right there. But I said, all right, I'm gonna find him. We're gonna get this selfie. It's gonna happen. And it wasn't until we were actually at Mania there in Philly at the stadium, and I had gone out to go look at the ring. They let me go out there and take pictures and hang out. And as I'm walking out, he was walking back into the dressing room, and we just crossed paths right there.
No security, right?
And it was minimal. And because we're already inside, so
Right.
you don't have to worry about people coming outside coming in. And so I saw him, and my buddy had a camera, and he goes, "Hey, Rock, quick pic with Fluffy." And he looked at me, and he as soon as he saw me, he goes, "Oh, hey." He's like, "Oh, hey." Like, as soon as he said, "Oh, hey," I'm like, "Oh, I'm in." And I freaking went in, shook his hand, just, "Hey, let's take a picture, and thank you for your moment. I don't want to bug you." And then he started asking me questions. "Hey, what do you think about Mania so far?" Like, "Oh my God." So
Rock is talking to me.
I did mark out. Yeah, I sure did.
Give me your second mark out moment.
Going to Stone Cold Steve Austin's house and hanging out at his house, getting drunk, and then using his toilet.
Did you take him? Did he take you hunting?
What do you mean he'd take me hunting?
Did he take you to hunt?
Oh, hunting. Oh, I thought you meant like honey. Like I thought maybe
No,
he had a
hunting.
dispensary. No. His house in California, very non-hunting type. It wasn't,
I thought you went to Texas.
No.
I thought you went to Texas.
He's got a
Small
couple
cross
places.
ranch or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's got a place. Yeah, he's got a place in Nevada too, doesn't he?
I think so, but the place I went to was
Jesus.
here in California, and so hanging out, I did his podcast, and we were drinking the whole time. And then afterwards, I had to go to the bathroom, and he let me mess up his plumbing. So for me, I'm in there going to the bathroom. I'm like, I can't believe I'm in this bathroom right now, because he told me, he pointed at the toilet, and he said, "That toilet has seen more Stone Cold Stunners than The Rock," and I'm like, wow.
Okay, so I just said two wrestlers. Now give me two actors or actresses that you met and you marked out.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I
How
met
was he?
Arnold Schwarzenegger after one of his movie premieres, and I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. I grew up watching all of his films, and so when I got a chance to meet him, that was pretty awesome for me. I was just like, and I just remember I walked away and I was just looking at my hand. I'm like, I touched the Terminator.
Who else?
So he was a big one. When I met Adam Sandler, it was very quiet. He was really nice, but I felt like I had to go through a video game of people, like levels. There's the first group, and then you get to the next group, and then okay, this way, and then the next one. And so it took a few minutes to get there. So it was a nice build up. And then when I got to him, it was a hello, how are you? And he's like, "You're very funny." "Oh, thank you. And took a picture, and hey, I'll be seeing you too. And
Please tell me that you have a story to tell me on this. I read that your influences was Paul Rodriguez. Okay,
see,
where is he? I don't
Where
even
is
hear
he?
from him anymore. Like, yeah, does he still?
he's still doing shows locally. As a matter of fact, I just saw his face on a flyer recently. So I want to say here in Long Beach, he was going to be performing at the Laugh Factory with a couple of other comedians. So he still works,
Okay, so here's my question. Your influences are Paul Rodriguez, Eddie Murphy,
right?
Robin Williams, and Bill Cosby, right? Am I missing anybody?
That's pretty much it. You got
Okay.
it.
Have you met any of them? And if you did, do you have any story to tell?
I know Paul.
Right.
Let me see. I never met Eddie Murphy.
Right.
I did meet Robin Williams one time,
Right.
and
What was that like?
Oh man, that was awesome. He popped in on one of my shows, so I was performing, and he was working on his the last HBO special he was doing, and he needed to just do some stage time. So he wound up crashing my show and going on after me, and people forgot me right away. It was pretty awesome.
Let me ask you this, Fluffy. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, wait, hold on. My guy's pulling the picture off the wall for this.
Love to see this.
Let me see. I hope the glare.
Put it this way.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. That's the man, bro.
Look at all that hair. Mira, pinche cabello.
Yeah.
It was a different time, man.
Yeah.
Fluffy, how long have you been doing stand-up?
This is year 27.
2017. It's funny. I had a friend of mine that wanted to be a stand-up comic, and I went and watched his first show ever, right? And, he had two good jokes, a bunch of them were like Stakers and Bobs. What was it like breaking in and going through the ups and downs of the night when you what was it like, bombing? If you ever did, and, nailing it one night, the feeling, and bombing and the feeling, and how did you react, and how did it shoot? What was your process going through each of those types of situations where you were breaking in?
Again, I feel like it's just like with wrestling. It's you feed off of the reaction of the people, the fans. They let you know when you're doing good. They let you know when you're doing bad. And that feeling you have when you don't get the reaction that you want from the fans, and you feel like, and then you look around at your peers, and your peers are like, yeah, that stunk. That did not go over well. And you just have this feeling of
the first time you bomb in front of a crowd, how uncomfortable, you're in front of people, and it's what was that? Did you freeze, or did you just,
that first time bomb feeling is just, you want to sink into a hole. You want to get as far away from that environment as possible. And unfortunately I didn't. I hung out because I thought that something good is going to happen. I just got to stick it out. And it didn't. It just got worse and worse and worse. And the looks from people, and they're, oh, wow. And then you're always trying to find one person. Hey, was it that bad? You know what? Hey, you tried. You'll get them next time. Nothing worse than you'll get them next time. And you're like, oh.
Well, let me tell you this. In professional wrestling, especially WCW, if you went out there and you screwed up a spot, or you blew a move or something,
You'd
in the
never
crowd,
hear the end of it, bro.
You were scared to walk back through that curtain, because you were everybody would just make
waiting to pounce on you, bro. You'd rather go straight from the ring to your hotel room and bypass the fucking dressing room, because when you got there, the moment you went through this curtain, shit was on. And the worst part, it would go on through catering, at the gym, everywhere.
Oh my God,
boys, yeah, they did not let you live it down, bro.
The hazing was real.
Yeah, the busting balls. Yeah, in both companies, very real. And even to this day, not as bad as before, because now we're, the pussification of America. They'll talk to human relations or HR or whatever, or go tell on you or some shit, but antes, bro, shit got serious quick. Is there any Latino comics or anybody in the game that we would know that helped you on your way up, or just by yourself?
Not necessarily with comedians as much as having the right people as far as management, agents, promoters. I've had the same promoter from day one. And again, this is year 27. My promoter started off as my original promoter's little brother. So it's the same company. And, my original promoter became my manager, and his little brother became my promoter. So it's it's that, the same family, the same group of guys from day one. So they've been very instrumental in just supporting me, letting me be creative. And anytime I started to kind of go in a weird direction, getting pulled to the side. So having people like that around. As far as comics go, I've met a lot of comedians along the way, some that would offer me stage time. And so stage time is a big thing too, but stage time doesn't write your material. Stage time doesn't help you with the performance. Stage time doesn't help you, get to that next place. So I can't say that there was too many that were like, oh my God, he helped me. And, for that reason, I wish I had names to give you.
Right.
I'm not bitter about it.
Well,
but
you made it at the end. You made it, and even better, you did it by yourself. Obviously with the help of your team. But the other thing that I wanted to ask you was, I saw you on this clip for WWE with Table for Three, but I just saw a little clip. What match were you going over?
Table for Three. Oh, was it Rivals?
Yeah, that or something like that. Yeah, where you were sitting at a chair with other wrestlers.
Oh, okay. You know what? It could have been anything. I'm hosting.
You've done a couple.
Well, yeah, I'm the host of Rivals right now on A&E. So we did, what was it, 12 episodes? We did 12 episodes. So we could have been talking about 30 different matches.
Okay. I thought you had only gone under once.
No. We talked about all kinds of different matches from back in the day, and even most recently with like Roman and Seth, and Roman and Triple H. Roman's been part of a lot of those episodes of Rivals. But yeah, that was the gist of it right there. So it was sitting there with Kevin Nash, sitting there with JBL, Cody Rhodes, Natalie, X-Pac. So we were alternating.
Bro, X-Pac's my brother from another mother.
Oh, I know.
Kevin Nash. Yeah, Kevin Nash has great sense of humor, and you were in him in that movie about the stripper or whatever.
Nice,
like
Magic
drug
Mike.
dealer.
Yeah, we were in Magic
Why were
Mike
you in the
together.
next one? I love your character.
There's 3 Magic Mike movies, and I was in 2 of the 3. The third one took place in London, and none of the original cast members.
I thought that sucked. That was the one with Selma Hayek and I thought
it's rare that some wasn't something that's not as amazing as it should have been. But I
did not like that movie. I thought you were.
Here's some of these episodes of rivalries coming up, just for you guys to know, and the listeners too. Hogan versus Savage, GI, you'll be interested in that. Austin versus Booker T, Flair versus Dusty, Triple H, Rollins, Cena versus Batista, and Hogan versus The Rock are just some of the ones that are coming up too. So that's on A&E.
So I got a question. High school, were you class clown or were you straight? What types of personality in high school?
So I'm actually very quiet. I'm very quiet. So in a room, when I'm not, if I'm not performing, I don't need to be the center of attention.
Right. I hate guys that have to be on 24/7. It's like, bro, chill the fuck out already.
There are definitely some people like that, and that's
right.
I can't do it. It takes too much energy, and I'd rather just enjoy my peace.
Right.
So when I'm not in front of people and I'm just sitting down, I'm really good at listening. I listen and I'm just like, okay, all right, that's what's going on. I'm reading the room, but I wasn't the class clown. But when I got the opportunity to get in front of people, you turn it on. That's when it counted. But I did know people like that, and it's very exhausting. Conan, like you said, bro, it's just like, fuck, shut up, dude. Yeah, párale. I get it.
Right. You're funny. You're loud. Yeah, we get it, dude. Yeah.
Were you a sports fan growing up? Were you a sports fan?
You know what? Very little. It wasn't until I got into high school and I played a little bit of football. That's when I got into actually enjoying and watching football.
Who are your teams?
Man, I've jumped around, but ultimately once I settled, it was the Raiders, and it's mainly because of my grandmother, and I didn't want to be that guy.
Bro, I'm a huge Raiders fan. Huge. I used to work in the Orange Bowl in Miami just to meet the players, and I know all the old school guys. I got pictures of them from Lau Zato to fucking Sistrunk, the motherfucking Ken Stabler, those are raza from way back then. But are you a Padres fan or a Dodgers fan?
The OG Al Davis days, yeah. You know what, man? I know that you're a diehard Padres guy, and
I am.
Lo siento, bro. I grew up in San Diego. I grew up out here in LA, so a huevo Dodgers.
I'm not mad at you. Yeah, why don't you buy the whole fucking league while you're at it? No mames, way. Well, let me ask you this. I saw you on a show.
He's not mad.
I saw you on a show which was very entertaining, where they had you eating I don't even know if you remember this. They had you eating the top Mexican snacks. Do you remember that or no?
Oh, I want to say that was one of these like influencer channels.
Yeah.
Like a I want to say, was it Me Too?
I don't know which one it
One
was.
of the accounts, but yeah, they had me eating all these different.
I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the Mubanchak or whatever the fuck they call him, watching people eat shit and rate it. And so let me ask you a question, because there's a lot of good Mexican snacks. They gave you snacks to try, and you said whether you liked them or not.
Pretty
Give
much.
me- Give me 3 or 4 go-to Mexican snacks for you.
Well, like for me, I like tamarindo.
Right.
You know, so pretty much anything you put tamarindo on, I'm really good about. You know,
Right.
I'm all for it.
How about just straight up agua de tamarindo?
That's always good too. But then if
Yes.
you put other aguas next to it, other different flavors,
Yeah.
they always got the horchata,
Right.
tamarindo,
Right.
you know, and then if you start going into the sodas, you got the jarritos or the fantas, and you just keeps, you know,
Right.
it does this right
Okay,
here.
so you've
My-
got so far.
My
Okay,
favorite
yeah.
candy is a mazapan. That's just it's like a Mexican Reese's peanut butter cup without the chocolate. It's just condensed
That's a
peanut.
good way of
Really,
putting it.
really good. They always call them the cacahuates, the chino cacahuates.
Yeah.
Cacahuates de chino that are
Uh-huh.
it's like a peanut that's got like a hard shell around it, and usually they're
They're not
spicy.
cheap. They're called cacahuates japoneses.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Those are bomb. It's got like a hard shell outside of it and a peanut inside, and some of them come like with chile and shit like that. Bomb.
And
Bro.
the packaging is like this long tube, like
Right.
that. You can just
Right.
hold it. You rip off the top, and you kind of just do one of
Right.
these.
Right. Anything else you want to throw in there?
Chicharrones, man. Anytime you got some chicharrones.
Okay. Let me kick something about chicharrones to you. I'm gonna give you a little recipe you're gonna like. Okay.
Uh-oh.
First of all, I don't fuck with American chicharrón because that's just air. Okay. You
Those
know
are
which ones
pork
I'm
rinds.
talking- Yeah, valen verga, bro. Because it's like air. It's just like, you know what I'm talking about, or no?
Yeah, when you bite into it, it's puffed.
Yeah, right.
It's like puffed.
But the Mexican chicharrón con la masita, right? That's been cooked like real pork rinds. That's fucking delicious. I used to go to the swap meet. But I'm gonna tell you this because you're gonna love this when you ever get the munchies. You don't smoke, do you?
Not anymore. I used to.
Okay. Well, whenever you're, watching TV and you want to have a couple snacks, get some chicharrones de masita, right? Throw a little pickle juice in there, okay? Let it marinate, and then throw a little hot sauce in there. Bomb.
That's your go-to.
Yeah.
Real Mexican chicharron. You got big pieces of meat. Sometimes you flip over the chicharron and you're like, ooh, bonus.
Right.
Yeah. The truck top American ones, it's usually fluffed up,
Yeah, it's like air, bro. You're just right. You're biting in the air. But okay, you might as well just bite into the air. Now, give me some favorite American snacks.
Oh man. Let's see. What's usually in my dressing room?
On your right, or okay, go ahead.
I'm a writer, yeah. I'm a big fan of Pringles. I just like Pringles. Sour cream and
right.
onion.
Right.
Takis. I love Takis.
Right.
So anything spicy. So
That's
whether
not
it's-
American, is it?
I mean,
Okay. Kind of,
You know.
yeah. Yeah.
okay, then Cheetos flaming.
Cheetos are great, right? Right.
I'm very simple, or just a regular peanut butter and jelly sandwich, man. I keep it really, really simple in my dressing room. I try not to
Okay.
get too complicated and make it stuff that you can find anywhere.
Let me ask you this question, because obviously you're a foodie. Have you ever eaten Cuban food in Miami?
Yeah, La Carreta or Versailles. Usually when
Wow, you went to the best place.
Yes, arroz imperial, imperial rice. And
Right.
so for those of you that don't know, it's rice and it's got shredded chicken mixed in it, and then they make this nice little mountain, and it has mayonnaise and cheese. It's crazy, but it's like you mix all that together and it's so good. And usually it has a side of tostones, you
Great.
got the plantains and stuff like that. Really good.
All right, let me ask you a couple of things. See if you've eaten this. You've obviously eaten a Cuban sandwich, right?
Yes.
Bomb.
Gallo special.
Right. Bomb, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you eaten un sándwich de bistec in Miami?
I want to say yes, because I pretty much tried everything. Every time I go there, man, I say it's an adventure. You know,
Bro,
wanna
you
try
would
everything.
love this because it's Cuban steak.
It's like a chicken fried steak, basically.
marinated. No, it isn't. No. It's just a steak marinated. Okay. Le tiran grilled onions, and I'm not a fan of onions, so I kick those out. And they throw in those little, remember those shoestring potato chips?
Oh yes, yes, yes. The real thin ones. The real thin
Yeah,
ones.
and then they grilled that bitch. Bro, you'll love
And
that.
I haven't.
Okay. Have you tried la papa rellena?
A baked potato that's full of stuff, right?
Stuffed potato with like meat in the middle.
That sounds familiar. Yes.
Okay. That's bomb. Okay.